49er mind is
It's not just a thought process, but a way of life.
49er mind. 49er mind.
Can't shake it. It's 49er mind that I got. It's 49er shine that I got. My psyche's on another Frisco Super Bowl. Don't sit slow, cause here we go with a super show. A written go session. About a ready go obsession. With some well-controlled expressions. Let's talk about that win that we got. Who should have been in the spot? That's how it's been in the spot. Let's roll that back, all that crack, all that straight fumble sack. Or just dial it on up if you wanna talk smack. It don't matter what the story on, as long as the story aligns with a 49er mind.
49er mind.
It's not just a thought process,
49er mind,
but a way of life. For sure.
49er mind.
Way of life.
49er mind.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to a morning edition of 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. I am here with my special guest, Ryan Hensley. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm good, man. Hey, who made that song? Did you make that song? Who made that song? That's pretty good.
Okay. So that's definitely not me on the track. That's a 49er dude. He's a rapper based in LA, big 49er fan. Had him on the show a few times, actually. Great guy. So yeah, that's him. He's jumped on a few 49er anthems. You ever seen the video for a song called 49er Fresh? That's him. So
did he make that just for you?
Yeah, he told me, hey, I'd love to make a 49er Minded song. I was like, yeah, I totally appreciate it. And he said, what beat do you want to use? He gave me about 5 beats, and I picked the one I liked, and we went with it. So
nice, man. That's good stuff. Good stuff, bro.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you. Let me just say what's up to people who've been waiting patiently in the chat. We got Brian Culp says, smash the like button, everyone. Share, subscribe, and comment. We got Red Jet. She said, showtime. And Danielle, so here. What's up, Danielle? Good to see you. She said, hey, family. Yeah, so people probably going to come in. It's a little early in the morning. So, our schedules kind of worked a certain way to get this going. And let me just start off with some little icebreaker questions, because a lot of people, especially if it's a first-time guest. Yeah, I bring back a lot of recurring guests on, but if it's the first time guests, I like to break the ice a little bit. To get to know the person that I'm talking to and just let the audience know what's up. And so I'm assuming you're a guy that grew up in the Bay Area. Is that correct? Or
yeah, Benicia, Vallejo.
Okay.
That's where I spent most of my childhood. Yeah,
I didn't grow up too far away in Pinole, and currently living in Northern California, Roseville now. Lived all over the Bay Area at one point.
I live very close to you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, we do. Okay, there you go. I thought maybe you lived in Sacramento, so because you're not too far from me. So did anybody inspire you, or did any thing out there in the universe inspire you to be a 49er fan?
I just grew up in I was born in 79, so I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and the Niners were just the local team, and they were just winning Super Bowls left and right. I got to go to Stanford football camp, meet Bill Walsh, meet Ronnie Lott, meet Roger Craig, and I was always a Niner fan going into it. And then when I went to that football camp, I think I was like 11 years old. After meeting those guys, I got to race Ronnie Lott, hear the story of him amputating his finger, all that stuff. That kind of sealed the deal for me. And then I just was always around it in high school. Like, their players would come play the staff of our school, and we go watch that. And yeah, I just been always Niners. Went to games growing up at Candlestick. So all of that, I wrote for Bleach Report 2009 to 2012. Got to know Grant at that time. I left to focus on real estate. He stuck with it. And then about a year, last June, he invited me on his show and did his show for a couple months, and then started my own channel and been doing it again for the last 12 months. It's been about 12 months of me doing YouTube 49er stuff. So yeah, man, I've just always been a huge Niner fan.
Yeah. And at that time, I initially remember you was being on Grant's show. Now, do you remember your first game in Candlestick, or your first experience in Candlestick that really stood out?
I can't remember the game. I was such a young kid. I know they were playing the Rams, and we got our ass kicked, and it was pouring down rain. I don't remember what year it was or anything, but I was a young kid, and so it wasn't like the best. Like, we didn't win. We got our butt whooped. It was pouring rain. I was soaking wet. So that experience wasn't the best. Man, I honestly want to avoid 49er games, because it seems like every time I go, they lose. I think I've been to like 6 or 7 Niner games in my life, and they probably won one.
Oh, wow.
So it's probably the best I watch from the house.
Maybe you should just go, though, just to break the streak. You never know, man. Maybe. So you never in the Levi's, I take it, huh?
I was supposed to go to the Bengals game. I ended up couldn't because of my kids' basketball stuff. I had to sell my tickets. So no, I've never been to Levi. I've been to the training camp in the summer, but I haven't been to a game in Levi, believe it or not. I was a little bit jaded, honestly, when they moved to Santa Clara, and it kind of I didn't like it. I was like, I ain't going to that stupid stadium. I was mad about it. I would go probably for in the right situation, but I just really love watching at home with my sons. I like having a bathroom, an empty bathroom, like right 5 steps away. I love being able to go to the kitchen and make myself a snack without paying $20 for a bottle of water. I just enjoy watching from the house, to be honest.
Yeah, that sofa at the house is the most comfortable seat that you'll ever find. More
Yeah,
so than
right.
ever watching at a game, that's for sure.
Right.
The game experience is cool for me. Just I don't really go that many times. I went to the New York Giants game earlier this year, but I think it's more of the camaraderie, just to see and mingle
Sure.
with fans. I know a lot of fans from the Candlestick days, but as far as actually watching the game, and it's always better in my opinion. Always obviously to watch at home.
Yeah, I
Lot-
agree, man.
Yeah, that's for sure. But that's cool though. You got to meet Bill Walsh and a whole collection of the 49er legends from back in the day. I remember I used to be a volunteer at the Warriors games back in 1991. Me, my brother, and I. God rest his soul. Shout out to my brother. But yeah, I used to walk by. I used to walk by courtside all the time, just walking around doing things, being a volunteer, and I'd see Ronnie Lott sitting there all the time at courtside. Now I didn't go up to him and bother him or talk to him really, but eventually later in life I did get to meet him, which was cool. And there was one game after we beat the San Antonio Spurs in the playoffs in the 91 playoff series, and I saw Steve Young, Bill Walsh, Ronnie Lott, Roger Craig, Eric Davis, all hanging out courtside. And I was so tempted to go up to them, but then I was scared at the same time, so I didn't. So, but I just remember waving to Steve Young and saying what's up to him or whatever. But I wish I could have met Bill Walsh. So but it's all.
I didn't appreciate it at the time. I was 11.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I was like, Bill Walsh, cool. Let me talk to Ronnie Lott. I wasn't even tripping on Bill Walsh, but I look back, I'm like, damn, I should have probably sucked that moment in a little bit better. But the Ronnie Lott thing was definitely cool. And Roger Craig, Ronnie Lott's been my favorite player since, honestly, still to this day.
Yeah, later in life, I ended up meeting Ronnie Lott at an autograph signing. He was at Macy's, I remember, in downtown San Francisco, and talked to him for a quick second and shook his hand. I saw his little finger severed off, which was interesting. It's like, whoa, okay, that's the finger that everybody talks about. That right there up in first. Really, really nice guy, by the way. We got a good friend of mine in the chat says, the Niner you love to hate 510. Another guy who grew up in the East Bay. I grew up in Spinol. Shout out to everybody who grew up in the East Bay. Ryan from the East Bay as well. Says, what up, Bash? Love Ryan's content. Bang, bang, mother effing Niner gang. All right, cool.
Right on.
Little too early for me to drop the F-bomb. So when I do it out of frustration. I do it every now and then in my show. I try to keep things clean, but maybe after a loss or if there's something bothering us within the 49er organization, I may drop a few curse words. Let me ask you this, because it's a little off topic, but since you're a Warriors fan, I know you cover the Warriors. I'm a big Warriors fan as well. Like, do you have any thoughts about this upcoming early start of the season for the Golden State Warriors?
I mean, great start, a lot better than last year, that's for sure. I mean, I was excited about the Chris Paul signing because especially if he was going to run that second unit, which he is now. I was a little disappointed because I thought they're going to bring in some kind of an athletic big. I like why can't I think of anybody's name? What's our big's name? I can't think of him right now.
Who, Looney?
Looney. I love Looney. I love Looney, but I feel like he should be our second big, honestly. But overall, man, like a great start compared to how they've been last year. They're second in the West right now, which is fantastic. Chris Paul is exactly what this second unit needed. Jordan Poole, very talented kid, but he wants to be a star. We have a star. We don't need that from Jordan Poole. I'm sure he's going to go over to Washington and just ball the hell out and score a ton of points, and that's great. He'll probably never win a damn championship at all over there. But I think what the Warriors needed is exactly what Chris Paul is bringing, just somebody to lead the second unit. So I'm excited, man. Great start. They're winning on the road. They weren't doing that at all last year. Took them till mid-December to win as many road games as they've already won this year. Last night's game was really close. No Draymond Green, no GP2. And GP2, I think, is extremely – he's way more – he's underrated, man. I think what he brings, he gives you the little things, the hustle plays, the defense that a lot of people don't really understand. They just look at his stat line and like, oh, he's not that important. GP2 is really important. So the Warriors went there last night. They competed, got really close. Steph had a chance to tie the game. There was a goaltending that was missed. That could have changed the outcome of the game. Overall, I think on the road against the defending champs, that close without Draymond, without GP2, I'm still impressed even with the loss last night. I think I'm really excited about this Warriors team much more than I was last year for sure.
Yeah, and see, and what was Draymond saying in the press conference? I think he was saying something like, "Oh, the happiness with the team is back," or something like that. You're like, yeah, no wonder the guy you punched,
Yeah,
the guy you knocked out of town is
right,
literally out of town right now.
Yeah,
But
kind of your fault there, buddy. Yeah, I mean, but Jordan Poole, honestly, he did have. I just don't think it was a good personality
yeah,
mesh with this team, and not that Draymond had the right to punch a guy like that, but at the same time, it just didn't seem like a good fit. And so I think he's better off where he's at for his career. Maybe not from a championship perspective, but from a statistical perspective, he'll be able to go be the star over there. And then I think the Warriors are much better off without him, to be honest.
oh yes, we're talking a little bit of Warriors right now. We're gonna jump into the Niners talk pretty soon. Just want to shout out Dion from Niner Game Podcast. What's up, bro? Says I'm not a Warriors fan, but I hope you all have a great season. Appreciate you. He was on the post game show. He jumped on our post game show with me and Twin and a whole bunch of other Niner content creators. We were taking shots, celebrating the Niner Warriors championship victory when they beat the Celtics. Those were good times. And Dion was on, even though he's not a Warrior fan, he was on there supporting with us because we're all Niner content creators. So check out Dion's channel, Niner Game Podcast.
Yeah,
and he's got a lot of fun stuff on his Instagram as well. He's hilarious. Master Andy Craft, good friend of mine over in Texas, says my two favorite people who discuss the 49ers. Appreciate you, Steve.
Right on. Thanks,
yeah,
man.
Steve's awesome, man. He's a big basketball guy too, by the way. Jack 510, what's up, bro? Says if Steve Wilkes can't adjust, how long until he gets replaced and who replaces him? We're gonna jump into that very soon. I just want to finish up one thing with the Warriors talk really quick. CP3, I mean, he's a big name out there. He's towards the end of his career, obviously, but when the Warriors signed him, I was thinking, oh, like I don't know. I was like, we have so many guards, and is this really gonna mesh in and fit? You mentioned GP2. I love GP2, obviously. And like, how's this going to fit with the team? And, you know, people were worried that is he going to be able to take a backseat role if he has to come off the bench? And when I watched the games, like, I was like, oh, wow, look at this. Like, you know, guys are getting open shots. And we got another guard out there who actually plays in defense. We got a guy out there who's not turning the ball over repeatedly. And his assist to turnover ratio is pretty awesome. And I love the mix.
Yeah, that's what you want from your second point guard. Right? I mean, I know sometimes he plays like closeouts and starts sometimes, but really what his job is here, his role here is to lead that second unit, lead the young guys, and he does a tremendous job with that. The biggest gripe I have with Poole is he would take so many shots away from Steph Curry. When they were on the court together, he's shooting these crazy Steph Curry type shots. And guess what, Jordan Poole? You're not Steph Curry, brother. We didn't need that. He was hurting the team with the turnovers, with the shots he was taking away from Steph. It was just not a good fit. He needed to go somewhere else where he could be the man. I'm glad he's over there, but CP3 is exactly what these Warriors needed. I'm glad he's here. It's better than I thought it would be, honestly. So I'm excited about it. A lot of young rookies are balling out. Kuminga seems to be stepping up. Moody was doing fantastic last year in the postseason. He continues to do really well. We just need Wiggins to step up. He's not really himself right now so far this season. You don't even really notice him on the court. He's just kind of there. So hopefully Wiggins gets in motion. If Wiggins can step up and get back to his potential, Warriors got to have a good season here.
I like Wiggins a whole lot better in those finals. And that was back to what you were saying way before about Looney. I've been dying for this team to pick up a real center, something with size. Now, I do like Trace Jackson Davis, who's more of a power forward in my opinion. But the Warriors, anybody over 6'8" to center. So he's 6'10".
Right.
Yeah,
right.
but he's a nice little piece. So I like him a lot. Let me say what's up to Peter Parker says, what's up, Bash? And for those of you guys who aren't familiar with my guest, sure a lot of you guys are, but if you're not subscribed to Ryan Hensley, click the description box of this video. It'll take you straight to his YouTube channel. Definitely show him some love. Hit like and subscribe on this channel as well. And definitely check out Ryan's podcast. He's got a lot of good guests that come on there, and just got a lot of good. Sometimes you give a lot of advice in terms of that's completely outside of sports. I noticed that on your show.
Yeah, I try to mix it up, especially I'm up so early in the morning. There's a lot of negativity and nasty stuff going on in this world. And so I try to spread a little bit of positivity, a little bit of advice. I've had an interesting life, done a lot of things, went through a lot of adversity, and I feel like it's important to share what I know and share some positivity in the morning. I'm trying to get to 6K. It's been 12 months. I'm almost at 6K. I think I need like 94 more subs. So if you haven't subbed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you would.
Definitely get him to 6K. That would be a great milestone to reach. That'd be awesome. So we're all trying to get to the top of
Yeah,
the
man.
hill, as they say. And yeah. I got this funny comment stuck in the back of my head. I'll probably tell you later or type in this chat, but
Yeah.
think you may know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna bring it up right now, but let me there's a little bit of an icebreaker question before we jump into Niner talk. Everybody's anxious to talk about the Niners. We got tons of stuff to talk about. I know that you grew up listening to hip hop, so who are you like hip hop influences growing up?
Like I grew up in Solano County, Benicia, and Vallejo. So really Vallejo artists were huge for me. But before that, I mean, Too Short was big for me. I was a big Too Short guy. NWA. I've been listening to rap since I was young. I go all the way back to Beastie Boys in second grade. Beastie Boys were
Beastie
big,
Boys,
but
yep.
yeah, that first album, License to Ill, was huge. Then I got more into like NWA, Eazy-E, Too Short, and then really in like sixth grade, it was pretty much dominant as far as like E40, Mac Dre, Tupac, those guys. But really, a lot of Vallejo artists. Like I was a big Mac Dre guy, big Mac Mall guy, big E40. Those were the main dudes I listened to growing up. Him and Pac. Pac's my greatest of all time. So those are my biggest
There you
hip
go.
hop influences. Yeah.
So primarily Bay Area rappers, but a little bit of LA mixed in. Everybody was big on NWA. NWA was big nationally, and Beastie Boys were definitely a big part of my hip hop influence as well. See them live 3 times, and I love all the Bay Area rappers in general. E40 is like my current favorite rapper, and I love impersonating
He's so
E40.
underestimated, man. He's so underestimated. E40.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he's really I just don't think people really give him his proper respects.
I heard some of our Niner fans hating on him on one of the spaces like last year or so, and I was biting my tongue. I was about to jump in on there, but I was like, it's all good, man.
They're
You can have their
lame, man.
opinion.
They're lame. But as I got older, though, I will be honest, I started expanding. I grew up with, really idolizing Pac and Mac Dre. And in that era, when I was growing up in the 90s, it wasn't cool to like East Coast rappers, right? There was the whole West Coast, East Coast rivalry. And so I kind of just didn't really pay attention too much to East Coast rappers outside of like Biggie and those guys. But as I got older, I started learning to appreciate them. And I do like, there's a lot of East Coast guys I like Nas is great. So I've expanded as I got older, although I don't listen to much new rap nowadays outside of a handful of guys that I think are good. Most of it's kind of not for me.
I was gonna say the same thing too. I grew up listening to watching TV rap, so the New York influence on a lot of what I listen to is definitely there. The channel name is inspired by a New York rapper, a song from a New York rapper, Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One, Criminal Minded. So that's where the 49er Minded name came from. So I'm definitely big on Boogie Down Productions and all those old school New York rappers. And I'm not cool with the new stuff. Now there's a little 49er hip hop song out there. Sure, I'll definitely check it out and bob my head to it. We got Darwin's Raven in the house. What's up, bro? Good to have you, man. That's a really, really cool Ravens fan right there. He's a good content creator. Just smash that like button. You should check out his channel. Anybody out there, he's really good, really good dude.
Well, hit me up, man. You can come on the show. Ravens fan. Come on the show before the Ravens game, man.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, hit me up, DM me on Twitter or something. Yeah,
he's really cool. He's funny and very knowledgeable. We got some shout outs to Vallejo in the chat. I know one person. Yeah, it's just all about Bay Area love on here. Danny Golden TV. What's up, Danny Golden? He says currently flying from Venice to London while watching. Damn. Okay, cool.
Fancy
on the plane, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this guy living his best life. Yeah. So, I mean, my last question before we get to the Niner talk is I haven't asked this question in a while because it's usually for first time guests. The pizza question. I'm a big pizza connoisseur because I got a pizza oven in the backyard. And
oh man, I'm jealous, bro. I keep telling my wife I want a pizza oven hella bad, man. She's like, "Why are you so obsessed?" I gotta give me a pizza oven, man. So I'm a little jealous.
If you need advice on a pizza oven or advice on recipes or whatever, just hit me up on Twitter.
Yeah,
you can always ask me questions, and that goes for anybody that has any questions about my show or whatever you want to talk about. You can always hit me up on my Twitter. It's very easy to find at 49ermind on Twitter and 49ermind on Instagram. Feel free to hit me up. But the pizza thing is it like I studied a lot of videos on how to make New York pizza at home and how to make different styles of pizza at home. So I bought a pizza oven in the backyard, and it's a big passion of mine. So like, what's your like go-to spot for pizza, either out where you live currently or even where you grew up? If you have a couple of spots to mention, go right ahead, and then we'll jump right into it. And you can tell me your favorite style of pizza as well.
So to jump back into like remember the whole East Coast rivalry thing we were just talking about. So I was always brought off New York, right? And then I think it was last September. So a year from not the September that went by, but the one before that, me and my wife went out there for our anniversary to New York for the first time. That place is amazing, man. I was tripping. I was sleeping on New York because of that. Just I grew up my whole life and like, oh, we don't like the East Coast and all this stupid stuff. It's so dumb now when I look back about it. But man, New York is dope, and the best pizza I ever had was right there in New York. I couldn't even tell you the spot. We tried like 8 different places for pizza, and the New York pizza is different, man. I don't know what it is. They say it's the water, it's the mozzarella, whatever it is, but you can just have a plain slice of cheese pizza in New York, and it's fire. As far as for me growing up, and still to this day, it's a chain. It's corny. I don't care, but I love Round Table Pizza, man. I grew up on Round Table Pizza.
Okay. It's a good chain.
I love Round Table Pizza, man. I don't know what it is. I know it's a chain restaurant. It's not that authentic. I apologize for not having a better answer than that, but I just love Round Table Pizza.
Hey, man. Hey, I even though I make my own pizza,
Yeah.
If there's the days that I don't have dough ready and I don't have the ingredients ready to make it on my own and I don't have the time to do it, there's a Round Table like 5 minutes right down the street from where I live, and that's a go-to local spot. So
Yeah,
it's
I
what
love
it
it.
is, man.
The crust is fire, man. It's got that little bit of sourness to it,
Yeah.
like almost like a sourdough. I love it, man. Round Table is my
Yeah, it's
spot.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. That's all. Well, what goes together better with pizza than football? Of course, so we got the 49ers football to talk about. The 49ers in the bye week on their break. A lot of Niner fans were speculating, are they going to make a move? I was making a little joke about it on Twitter of me. I had a little meme. I had a little joke going where on my Twitter where it was a gif of somebody sliding through his phone hella quick, swiping through his phone hella fast because is refreshing his Twitter feed to see if the Niners were going to make a move. And that was me, man. I was constantly just refreshing. Are we going to make a move?
Yeah.
Especially on that last day, like the hours were dwindling down and it felt like no move was going to be made. And then I had my boy, Joey, text me, oh, we got Chase Young. So, oh, you're not that excited. It was kind of like, I was like, whoa, we got him. Okay, cool. And I am really, really excited about it, actually. Just once it first initially happened, I was kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. That's weird, man. I didn't expect that. But how did you feel about the acquisition? And were you excited about it, or what do you think about it moving forward?
So for me, I mean, Chase Young at that price, I mean, what are we paying him? $600,000 a year. We traded a 3rd-round draft pick, and we have like 18 third-round draft picks. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer to get Chase Young at that value, and I'm excited about him. I think it's a good look. I'm looking forward to seeing how he performs with Nick Bosa. Definitely wasn't mad about it at all. I think it's a great job picking him up. That being said, it wasn't a priority to me. I feel like the 49ers have invested so much money into the pass rush that it's like, okay, this is great value, tremendous pickup. I'm excited, but what about corner? What about the offensive line that I've been screaming? Now, I didn't think they were going to pick up offensive line in the trade because it's just not realistic to do that. Not a lot of teams are giving them up, and it's hard to insert them, and et cetera, et cetera. But corner, I was like, oh, we're definitely going to get a corner, and we didn't. So I was a little bit down about that. But as far as Chase Young, man, it's a no-brainer at that price, at that value. Absolutely. And hopefully it makes a difference.
Yeah, hopefully it does. I mean, I've always been one of those guys who have been about the pass rush more so. Now, I think defensive backs are very important, but for example, if I had the first pick of the draft and they're saying, oh, there's a generational pass rusher as opposed to a generational cornerback, I'm leaning towards the pass rusher side. Maybe I'm biased because I did play, I played defensive tackle in high school, and I also mainly played O-line, but I definitely started off playing defensive tackle. So I'm just more so of the philosophy is if you get to the quarterback, if you got average corners out there, it'll make them look good. Or if you have good corners out there, it'll make them look great. That's kind of how I look at it. So I was pretty excited about the Chase Young thing. I know he's gone through his injuries and his bumps and bruises in Washington. But I think this may be a rejuvenation of his career, perhaps. Playing with Bosa, his college teammate, with Chris Kosaric is going to be out there, obviously helping him out. And just the fact that Bosa stuck around at the bye week to say, hey, you know what, Chase? Let me show you the ropes. Let me show you some of my moves. Let me show you how this defense works. That really excites me. And Chase said a lot of good things about the 49ers culture in the locker room right off the bat.
Well, what's funny about Chase Young, man, he has more sacks than Nick Bosa right now. And I looked at their Ohio.
It's not funny because we're paying Bosa so much.
Right. But I looked at their Ohio State statistics as well. And I think I don't have them. I'm just giving off the top of my head. I forget what they were exactly, but I think Chase Young played maybe 6, 7, 8 more games than Bosa, but had 14 more sacks than Bosa in college. So the talent is there. I mean, the talent is definitely there for Chase Young, and possibly this becomes something great for the 49ers, and it makes a difference. I know John Lynch is, and when I played, I didn't play a lot of football. I love basketball more. I like baseball. I played soccer, all that. But I did play football a little bit, and I was a right tackle and a nose tackle, so I relate to you in that regard. But for me, like when I'm building a 49ers team or any NFL team, it goes quarterback, offensive line, protecting that quarterback, establishing the run game, which helps that quarterback, and then defensive line. 49ers are quarterback, supposedly, and then pass rush, getting to the quarterback, and then I don't know where they rank offensive line. So I just don't sync up with that philosophy, and it's frustrating to me because I think we're seeing some of those problems right now play out, especially if Trent Williams is unhealthy. The 49ers offensive line is just not where it needs to be successful go the distance. And that's what's frustrating for me.
Very, very frustrating, actually. And keep in mind, when I said like the first pick of the draft thing, I was leaning more towards the defensive side. But yeah, corner and pass rusher. But I'm all about the line too. Trust me on that one.
Yeah.
49ers First Take podcast is here. That's Aaron. Shout out to him. Him and I go live on every Saturday, so to speak. And good dude. Says, hey, Bash, hey, Ryan.
Yep.
Aaron for 49ers First Takes. Check out his channel. Another guy who I've had on here multiple times for post game shows. A big Ohio State fan and a big Niner fan. John V. Whenever I say his name, I always have to say it with that rough voice. I try to emulate his voice, but I do a terrible job of doing it.
John's a nice guy.
John's awesome, man. My brother Bash and homie Ryan Hensley. Appreciate all the love in the chat. Darwin's Ravens says a big Ravens fan. YouTuber as well says elite pass rush can win championships. And that philosophy really started after the Giants NASCAR package. They made their corners look better because of pass rush. Yeah, I'm going to jump into the NASCAR package really quick. I'll say this, though, about the offensive line. You were one of the first guys I remember on Twitter to make a big stink about DeJuan Jones. And a friend of mine was talking about him a lot, and I was researching him. And this is way before the draft. And I was like, oh, wow, I'd love to get this guy. But everybody's like, he's not going to be available when we draft. And then here I am. I was a guest on Niners Sickness podcast during the live draft shows. So I was there for all the Niners picks. And each and every time in the third round, I was pounding the table for DeJuan Jones because my eyes got this big because I was like, oh, wow, he's available. Yeah. Let's get him. And I was cussing up a storm each and every time we didn't get him, man. It wasn't fun.
That makes no sense, man. It's so frustrating to me. People are like, oh, he doesn't fit the 49ers scheme, blah, blah, blah. Well, then – so McKivitz does. McKivitz is the upgrade over DeJuan Jones. That's what you're telling me. I just get frustrated hearing that, man. Like bullshit. Excuse my language. I shouldn't cuss, but like BS, man. Like don't sell me McKivitz is better than DeJuan Jones because of your scheme. I don't want to hear it. DeJuan Jones is better than Colton McKivitz at everything. It's frustrating, man. I don't understand it. That's like I like Kyle Shanahan. There's a lot of things he does really, really well, and it's not like I'm saying it. Kyle Shanahan is completely trash in every single way. I don't think that at all. There's a lot of things he does really well. But it just bothers me. I don't understand why they just don't prioritize the offensive line more, man. And it's one of the most frustrating things for me as a 49er fan to come to grips with.
Very much so. And for me, it's like, again, I played on the line. So it's like there's an internal passion and nobody wants to see their quarterback get smashed around the field either. And yeah, I've had tons of people jump on me on Twitter, like got to the point where they got personal telling me I was stupid because Kyle has this scheme and he likes athletic tackles. And it's like, are we having Colton McKivitz run patterns for us now too? Is that what you're telling me, that we need somebody faster? Like, I'm sorry, but these road graders I've seen across the league have been making all pro teams and Pro Bowls year in and year out. And then we're stuck with these mediocre guys who were quote unquote supposedly athletic and they fit the scheme. So I don't know, man, you missed me on that one.
Yeah.
Especially when I saw DeJuan Jones locking up Bosa when we played the Browns.
Right. And here's the thing you brought up, like people getting angry on Twitter. Like some 49er fans are they just want to hear good things and just say good things. Just talk nice about my team. Don't be real. Don't be objective. Just say good things. I want, and to those guys, more power to you. Enjoy, have fun, have a ball. you won't like my show because that's not how I am. I try to keep it real and give my honest opinions. Now, my opinions and may be wrong. Like I've been wrong a lot. I've been right, but I'm always going to be honest. And that means sometimes I'm going to criticize my team, man. And that's kind of just what I do. When they do good, I tell you. And when they do bad, I tell you. I give my opinion. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. So I get a lot of those people that you brought up. Like just a lot of people don't like that shit. I gotta stop cussing. It's too early.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I've cussed so many times on her, you don't even know, man.
Right.
But I'm not really in that mood right now. But John V agrees with us. His preach, he was supposed to be a Niner. I swear, yeah, I thought so too. But I guess being 370 pounds is a Cardinal sin in Kyle's book, and therefore he'll never be drafted. Master Eddie Craft Steve, a good friend of mine, says, Ryan, I remember you saying that you didn't see the Niners winning that NFC Championship game against the Eagles. That was because of the O-line or the overall comparison. Now, what was the reason for saying that?
It was the trenches, man. It was the trenches on both sides, right? That the 49ers in that game against the Eagles, I said it, and I still believe it. I didn't think they were going to win that game, even if Brock Purdy stayed in there. Because if you really watch that game, they were getting dominated on both sides of the ball in the trenches. Now, 49ers D-line, I think it has improved over last year, regardless of the sack numbers. I think their talent level is better. But their offensive line is just the same or worse as they were last year. Trent's a year older. McKivitz, all right, maybe he's a better than McGlinchey. McGlinchey's been so bad this year. So maybe that's an upgrade, but is it really an upgrade or just slightly better? So I'm concerned about facing the Eagles because they've prioritized that offensive line where the 49ers haven't. And you would think after a team, you lost 3 quarterbacks, not all of them because of offensive line, but overall, you should be thinking, I need to protect my quarterback after losing 3 quarterbacks last year. And you know what? He's just like, nah. More of the same. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to prioritize it. It's frustrating to me, man. And I don't know. We'll see how they stack up against the Eagles this year on December 3rd. It's going to be interesting. But I just really felt like the 49ers were dominating that game on both sides of the ball. I don't think any quarterback would have had success in that game based on how the O-line was playing.
Yeah, I've always been envious of the trenches that the Eagles have. In general, they've always had great offensive linemen, great defensive linemen. And I mean, like you mentioned, like let's try to trade for an offensive lineman. I wish that was wish that was a thing in the NFL where you could trade for offensive linemen. There's just very few good offensive linemen out there. So, like I said, like when those players show up in the draft in the rounds that you're picking and they're not supposed to be there, you get them. There's no excuse. I don't care.
Right.
When you have that talent level, you trust your coaching staff that you can shape that guy to fit your scheme. If you got somebody of that talent level, I know he may not be a perfect scheme fit, but I'm sorry, if somebody's that talented, they'll find a way to make it happen. Yeah. Let me see what's up to Fired Up 49ers for the Pacific Northwest. Says yo, we got Ted Talks Ball. Says what's up, Bash and Ryan. I go on live with Ted every Friday. We do Ball with Bash and Ted. So I had the pleasure of meeting him at training camp too. We actually had lunch together after training camp, and we had pizza together. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I met Ted in person at training camp also, man. I didn't know you were there. Maybe we were on different days. I went to
I was there a day you weren't there, I believe. And the day I was there, I wasn't sitting in the general section. I was fortunate enough through a friend got a hookup to be the VIP section. So I was kind of chilling where a lot of players were and former players were and players' families. So I got to meet a whole bunch of guys. And you ran into Locksmith over there for this dude that does those 49er freestyles and stuff. So it was good times, man.
That's
really
dope.
Good times. Yeah, so back to the defense really quick because we got Bosa in the mix and Chase Young in the mix now. I was thinking in my mind like they should do like a NASCAR package, or maybe we'll see it. Who knows? Where it's like Randy Gregory, Hargrave, Bosa, and Chase Young. I think that would be cool.
It would be. Yeah, I would like to see it. Yeah, I mean they got to mix it up, and I don't know, man. I think the 49ers defensive line has been talented, even without Chase Young. They're talented. I like what Randy Gregory's done. Obviously Bosa, Armstead, I mean Hargrave, like they got a talented defensive line. So adding Chase Young was just, icing on the cake as far as the defensive line was concerned. It's great he's here. I'm glad to see it. But I think, as far as like when I was looking at the team, what was their weakness? I wouldn't have said that, right? I think they had a lot more things that they could have addressed, but we'll see, man. I'm just a little concerned about this defense in general because it's the missed tackles, and I don't understand where that comes from. Like, why all of a sudden are we a team that can't tackle? Like, Rob Stats-Guerrero brought up an interesting statistic that shows that the 49ers linebackers have 3 times as many missed tackles this year as they did last year. And I can't put that on Steve Wilks. That's on them. And I can't understand. I'm trying to think in my head, what is it? It can't just be like, it's not like their athleticism dropped off completely. So what is it? That my best guess is just like a motivation thing, which is weird though. You're an NFL player. You shouldn't lack motivation at this point. I don't understand it. I'm concerned about it. And it's great. We got Chase Young, and I'm excited about all the different things they can do there. But I'm just more wondering what the hell is going to go on with this defense as a whole.
I was going to say, I remember the last game, I didn't sit there and watch all 22s or diagnose the film or anything like that. But one thing that I noticed during the game was what happened to Greenlaw and Fred Warner. And what I was thinking was, my philosophy was like, I know these guys are two of the better linebackers in the league. So I was thinking by default to blame Wilks because, maybe he's running schemes where these guys, because all throughout the game, I just saw these, like, for running back, caught a pass, those guys were 5 yards away from them, or I don't know. I just felt like all these guys were like out of place on every play. Like, there was no defender anywhere near any receiver or runner on certain plays. And I was just thinking in the back of my head, it was maybe Wilks' fault. But if you're telling me it's not, and you're telling me some missed tackles, that could be the problem.
Yeah, I mean, they're all missing tackles. I don't understand what's going on with defense. I mean, I don't know. I reported on my channel. I have a couple of people that I talk to on the 49ers. One of them I've known forever, right? So for a long time. But what I was told, and I put it on my channel a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, is that the 49ers defense has not bought into Steve Wilks. And so the only thing I can try to put together in my head is that they're just not bought into Steve Wilks. They're not playing for him at the level that we've seen them play for Saleh and D'Amico. And I don't know if that's why that is, but at the end of the day, you guys are professional athletes getting paid millions of dollars. I don't give a damn if you like Wilks or not. Play your ass off. Don't miss tackles. That's kind of how I think about it.
Yeah, and tackling is something very elementary in the game of football. For the form and all that shouldn't be something that's against the defensive coordinator. I totally agree with that. Yeah. Now, speaking of Steve Wilks, I mean, do you think this move of bringing him down to the field will do anything different or change anything? Well, how do you feel about the whole announcement of the move?
I don't really know. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, so I've been a basketball coach actually for the last 10 years in high school, obviously not NBA. It's not NFL. It's not, it's completely different. I'm not comparing the two in that regard, but I will say that having those personal relationships with players can be beneficial. I don't know. He seems like he's the kind of guy that likes to see the all 22 angle from above and when he calls plays. And so I'm not sure how he's going to adjust to being down on the field, but there is something to be said about the relationship building. Like, that is important more than a lot of people understand. Like, being able to communicate and build those relationships. And this isn't going to fix, right? Just because he comes down to the field for the Jaguars doesn't mean automatically he's going to have good relationships with all these guys. But it's something that they can build over time, and seeing them face to face, having that interaction and communication with everyone, not just Fred Warner, right? With the entire team. I think that could be a good thing for him. Is it going to be the game changer, the difference maker? I don't know. It could hinder him. Maybe he calls plays differently, but maybe being down there with Kyle and with the defense, it could, he can get more feedback from the whole team and not just one player who's listening to him in the head. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it helps him build relationships long term. I don't know. But honestly, outside of a couple plays, I don't know if I want to put all the blame on the defense on Wilks as much as these players need to go out and execute.
Yeah, and I think you were saying a couple of plays where you referred to that Vikings game where there was that crazy blitz right before the half, or the other crazy blitz that they did on the screen where the dude had a screen pass and there was nobody there on the back end to stop him. Right. Yeah, there were definitely a few questionable, eye-opening weak calls of his, but yeah, it's hard to say, man. It's like, I think the only benefit maybe is that I'm going to go back to what Grant Cohn was saying in training camp, because I remember he stressed this a lot. He was saying that he was comparing the difference between Steve Wilks and Kyle Shanahan. He was saying that in training camp, he saw Steve Wilks coaching up the players a lot in training camp, communicating with them, telling them do this, do that. Yeah. And if Steve Wilks is in the booth, you're not going to have that, right? Correct. Now on the field, maybe this, since he was so good at doing the training camp, maybe it is good to have him on the field. Who knows, So we'll see, man. I mean, we all know that he's not a rah guy, a pumped up, flamboyant guy on the sidelines, and we got Kosirik to do all that. He's kind of the guy's got the loudest voice of any assistant coach I've ever seen, and more fire than anybody. When I met him, I specifically told him that I appreciated his energy and it made me want to play football again. But we'll see how it goes. Let me see what's up to some people that got here. We got Trey from VA, good friend of mine, big famous caller on the Rombo show. Says, "Was good fire show, guys. Appreciate you, bro." John B says, "Ryan, love seeing you rocking with the fellow content creators out here." Oh yeah, man, it's always good. 49er family on YouTube. Yeah, I mean this. Let's see what Trey says. This is the players need real time right now. And right now, you think they need real time adjustments. Yeah, I love defense. I get so hyped up to watch this Niner defense. It's so disheartening sometimes just to see, like, I know Mooney Ward's a good player. I know he can play. I mentioned Greenlaw and Fred Warner earlier. These guys are dogs, and to see them miss tackles and to see Mooney Ward get worked on all kinds of pass plays, it's just heartening, man. Because I've seen some of these guys do it before. In the first 5 games of the season, they did it against Dallas. This defense looked amazing, man.
Yeah, they just kind of lost their mojo, man. I don't know, and they got to get it back because this team depends so heavily on defense. Everything is predicated on the defense. The way their whole offensive scheme is predicated on having a good defense. If you don't have a good defense, you can't play the slow, methodical, run the ball offense that the 49ers love to run. If your defense isn't, putting out a lot of 3 and outs, if your defense is allowing the offense to run down the clock and score on you over and over again, then you can't play 49ers offense the way that they like to do it. So everything, this whole system, the whole philosophy for the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, is built on the defense. And so they got to get back to being top 3 in their performance in order for the 49ers to have any chance of going far this season.
Totally agree. Rick Diaz in the house says, "Good morning, faithful. Appreciate you, bro." Yeah, let's talk about the Brock Purdy really quick, because I know the 49ers went on a 3-game skid. And what was your assessment of Brock Purdy during those 3 games? And do you think he could have a bounce back game, which could possibly put us over the hump and break this losing streak in Jacksonville?
Yeah, sure. But like Brock Purdy, I got mixed emotions about, mixed feelings about, mixed thoughts about. He played really well in the Browns game. He played bad the whole game. Let's be real. That was a bad game. Browns defense was really good. Brock Purdy's worst game by far was against the Browns. Against the Vikings and the Bengals, he played really good throughout both of those games, and I was impressed. And I'm like, damn, look at Brock go, especially the Bengals. He's scrambling, creating, love it all. But when it comes to the end of the game, man, that's on Brock, man. Like, you can't turn the ball over that many times and expect to win games, especially at those end of the game moments. Again, this team is predicated on defense. If your defense is going to get up points, and then now all of a sudden the run game's not working, you're asking Brock Purdy, second-year quarterback, who may or may not even be that guy, to put the team on his shoulders and carry them to victory. So far, it hasn't looked good. We'll see if he can bounce back against the Jaguars. I'm hopeful. But those were really bad moments for Brock Purdy. The end of both of those games, he had opportunities to win them, and he just didn't step up and make it happen. Like, if anything else, man, just take what the defense gives you. Live to play another down. You don't have to necessarily be a hero. Just take what is open and don't turn the ball over. That's your job. You can't be out there turning the ball over multiple times at the end of the games. He's got to learn from that. He's got to improve, and he's got to bounce back in order for the 49ers to be successful. Will he do it? I don't know. The one thing I talked about this morning on my show that concerns me, I'm going to read it to you. I want to get your take if that's okay. It says, objectively, if you can do it, when you see that the 49ers have the most wide open receivers in the NFL, and they do, the 49ers have the most wide open receivers in the NFL by a large margin, mind you. And then consider that Brock is 6th in turnover worthy plays. He's 4th in bad throw percentage, and he's 20th on off-target throws, on target throws, excuse me. That does make me concerned, man. He has the most wide open receivers in the NFL, a high turnover worthy percentage throws, 4th in bad throw percentage, and he's 20th in on-target throws. That does concern me. Now, he's young. He can still grow. He can still learn and improve, and maybe he will. I'm hopeful that he does, but I am concerned right now based on what we've seen the last couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it in camp a lot. I wasn't. You mentioned camp. I was only at camp one day. We talked about that earlier, so I didn't get to see. The day I was in camp, actually, Brock looked pretty good, especially in the red zone. But I did hear that he had a lot of bad days in camp where he was throwing picks, and I get it. He was coming off an injury and stuff like that. And I was a big Trey supporter, but once Trey got traded, I obviously had to rock with Brock Purdy, and that's QB1 right there. with that said, I mean, I was a little concerned about turnover worthy type throws. I saw some of them last year. Definitely saw a couple of ones that interceptions look like they could have been dropped in this last game as well. Now Brock did make some excellent throws too down the field, and he connected on some really nice, accurate throws that were a bit deeper than people thought he could normally throw at in this past game. But unfortunately, we did lose, and I get it. His quarterback rating in the fourth quarter of these past few games is really, really bad compared to what he could do in the first three quarters too. So that's definitely another thing to look at. So I do think obviously he's a younger quarterback. He's got things to work on. So in general, I do like his accuracy on throws, and I get it. I know Kyle loves to draw people up, but it is concerning from time to time. Yeah, I got you, man. I've seen passes that look like they could have been intercepted and they just got dropped for whatever reason, or see that happen. But then some Niner fans will go back and say, "Oh, well, Ayuk and these other guys are dropping passes too, and they're not catching passes." Mm-hmm. And so we'll see. I personally, and I know a lot of people were talking about Ayuk and saying that we saw that whole thing with Larry and then Jesse and them. That was just so funny, the lower deal. Yeah. I like Ayuk a lot. If they could somehow hold on to and keep him, I think he's having a really, really nice season. Maybe the touchdown production may not be there, so to speak, but I just think he's a great asset to the team.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah, so we got Dan Castillo's here. Says, "What's up, bro?" We got Master Andy Craft. He says, "It seems like Kyle Shanahan will abandon his game plan when things get rough. He did it in Atlanta during that Super Bowl. Yep, and during the playoff runs against the Rams, the last two games. I don't know, man. It's like we got CMC and we don't have other guys helping him out, man. Are you concerned about the run game in general?
Without Trent Williams, yeah. No Aaron Banks this weekend. And we're not, I don't know. We'll find out soon about Trent Williams, whether he's going to play this weekend or if he's even practicing today. But the thing is, man, like, I'm concerned about Trent Williams overall because of his history of injury on that ankle. Like, even if he plays this weekend, or if let's say he sits out and he plays, 2 weeks from now, is this going to be a long lingering issue for Trent Williams like it was in 2021? He played the playoffs with a bad ankle throughout that whole time and had to have surgery, I believe, on it. So he has a history with this ankle, and it's concerning because if we lose Trent Williams, or if we get 80% Trent Williams, even though Trent Williams at 80% is better than a lot of people, it's still, we really need Trent Williams at 100% if we're going to really compete in the postseason and go all the way.
We're not even going to have Aaron Banks in this game too. He's got the turf toe issue.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, Somi's up here. Says, "What's up?" We're actually going to be closing up shop pretty soon. Ryan's got an appointment, so it's all good. I really appreciate him for jumping on here. Appreciate everybody in the chat, by the way. You guys have been awesome. I know it's been early, and our schedule's linked up, and this is the early time that we did, which is all good. And it's been awesome having you on, man. Do you think we get the W in Jacksonville before I have you go?
I just have my show, and here's what I said, man. This is my thoughts. If I had to call it right now, if Trent Williams is 100% and healthy and plays, we win. If he doesn't, we lose. That's how I see it. That's how tight it is to me in my eyes, and that's how important I think Trent Williams is.
Okay, I do think Trent Williams is very, very important. It's very disheartening to see him in games where he gets up and he starts limping. It's like, oh damn, I hope we don't lose this guy. Like, yeah. he's all we pretty much have on that line.
Yeah, and he was limping around last week again, according to people that were there during practices and stuff, and in the building. So he was limping around last week, and I'm just really concerned about that because I feel like Trent Williams, I mean, maybe besides Brock Purdy or CMC, he's the most important player on this team, particularly the offense. If 49ers don't have him or have a fraction of him, I'm concerned, man. But we'll see. Whenever I predict anything negative or wrong, I would always, or negative or doubtful, I would always love to be wrong about it. So hopefully 49ers can ball out regardless.
Yes, yeah, I have, I think it's going to be a close game. I think we have a shot to win this, but there are certain things that do have to align in order for us to win. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on. Anything you want to shout out in terms of your channel or anything you want to mention before you get going?
Just subscribe to the channel. I'm on weekdays. I think I'm taking off Wednesdays every week now because Grant and Stats are on. I like to watch it. I also don't like to compete against those guys, but usually I'm on every single weekday at 9 a.m. PDT, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Please subscribe to the Ryan G. Hensley Show. Be much appreciated. And Bashar, thank you so much for having me on. Really appreciate it, man. It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, good to talk to you too, man. I'd love to do it again, man. So yeah, definitely appreciate having you on, man. So take care, bro.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Take care, man. All right, so that was Ryan Hensley on here. I'm gonna stick around a little bit just to feel the chat out, and if anybody wants to jump on a little bit, let me know. You can jump on with me. You can hit me up on my Twitter and my Instagram. I get you a link. Otherwise, we'll just close it up, but I'll try to follow up with these comments in the chat. I know so there were a whole bunch of comments that I couldn't get to, so let me see what's up. And who I know I saw something about concussions. What's up, Darwin's Raven? He said talking about Brock Purdy. He said he had a concussion and he was questionable. He went into the Bengals game and got another one. Nobody called it. Yeah, supposedly he may have had a concussion in the Bengals game. I don't know if they ruled it as a concussion officially. Not sure about what happened with that one, but hopefully it wasn't a concussion. That may have appeared to be. Who knows? But that's pretty. Those are pretty scary waters to jump into, though. So hopefully they are cautious about that. I'm not a big Sam Darnold fan, but if they really have to play Sam Darnold, go ahead and do it. I wouldn't want Purdy to risk anything. So let's see if any other. So Brian Kolb says, "What's up, Brian Kolb? Check out his YouTube channel, by the way." Says I want Purdy to start, but if he's hurt, we got to go with the next guy. Totally agree with you. Dan Castillo says I want to see them move Talanoa Hufanga up close again. He had a lot of pressure on the quarterback last season. I totally agree so too. I thought Hufanga was a lot more active last year. I'm a big Hufanga fan, of course, and definitely love to see him up close to line of scrimmage here and there. He's really, really good at it, obviously. I'm a huge Hufanga. Probably Hufanga is easily my favorite player in the secondary. I can't think of anybody else who is. And met the guy too, actually. Really, really cool guy. So yeah, shout out to Talanoa Hufanga, one of my favorite players. See if there's any other comments I can bring up really, really quick. Jason Niner Smash Massey's here. He says logo faithful. I believe that's something in Samoan. I think he's saying hello or giving his greetings. I know John V. If you're still watching, I see you. I believe you texted me earlier about something about the Niners, and it was about a tweet. I'll try to read it really quick. I believe it was a comparison about who was it about? I'm gonna pull it up right now. It was a comparison. Okay, it's from Jesse Naylor's Twitter. Actually, I can pull it up on Jesse Naylor's Twitter. I'll just share my screen. It was a comparison between Steve Wilkes and D'Amico Ryans. So I'm gonna flash it on my screen really, really quick. Jesse Naylor's Twitter. Where's he at? I'll share it with you guys. Here we go. I'm gonna share my screen on here. Yeah, John, thank you for that. I know you sent it to me on my phone, so I'm gonna pop it up on my screen in just a second. Appreciate that. Really, really quick. Let me just do that for you guys. Share your screen. So 2023 49er defense versus 2021 49er defense, the first 8 games. So under Steve Wilkes, the 49ers have averaged, they gave up 86 rushing yards per game, 17.5 points per game, 5-3 record. And D'Amico Ryans last year in the first 8 games, 132 rushing yards per game. Okay, interesting. I didn't know that. 25.25 points per game and a 3-5 record. Okay, definitely put some stuff in perspective. We found ways to turn it around last year, which was awesome. So we didn't really get off to the great start last year. And I've noticed sometimes, hey, you know what? It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? 17 game season. So it's not always, you're going to have some bumps and bruises along the way. Sometimes those bumps and bruises are injuries, which isn't necessarily favorable, but every team goes through injuries as well. I made a little joke. It's like, they say we're bang Niner gang, feels more like banged up Niner gang. So I hate to joke about the injuries, but it is what it is. What can you do? David McNiners here says, let's effing go Niners. At work, been listening the whole time. Okay, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. And if there's any other comments that I missed or any other questions, let me know. I'm going to go scan through the comments really, really quick, see if there's anything that I missed to bring up here before we do close it out. And for those of you that aren't subscribed to the channel, just hit the like and subscribe button on the channel itself. Also, if Ryan Hensley was my guest, he was really awesome. And if you're not subscribed to his channel, check out the description box of the video. It has his link to his YouTube channel. Very knowledgeable. He's got all kinds of cool guests, and he's been on with them on the Grant Coleman Show a whole lot. So yeah, definitely check him out. Yeah, so there's a lot of talk about Chase Young. There's a lot of talk about Steve Wilkes, obviously. On offense and with Brock Purdy. I mean, Brock Purdy's had his ups and downs as of late. I still have a lot of confidence in Brock Purdy. I see Brock Purdy as a guy who did some stuff to improve upon his game in comparison to what he did from last year. Not the biggest, strongest, most talented player, so to speak, but he's just got certain aspects of his game that I do like a lot. His confidence is very, very admirable, and the confidence shows on the field. You can see it. So yeah, I'm definitely for Brock Purdy, and I think he can overcome this hump. So hopefully the bye week helped him out, helped out the other players as well. And it sucks. Yeah, you don't want to lose 3 games going into a bye week, but it's the NFL. Every now and then you do hit a rough spot. I totally understand. And they just have to find a way to overcome it. The bye week was there, and we've got a boost on defense with Chase Young. That's a big deal. A lot of Niner fans are kind of downplaying it. I think that's going to help the pass rush a whole lot, and he's a good run stopper as well. And I just think I think it's going to help boost up Bosa's production. Right, Bosa's going to be challenged a bit, and he's got like one of his better friends on the team. Him and Chase Young had a great relationship at Ohio State. If there's any new comms that could show up. Brian Cope said, "Great show, Bashar." So, anyways, I appreciate everybody. Just like I kind of covered all the questions. Brian Cope says, "Jags are 4-2 versus Niners all time." So let's make that 4-3, right? Yeah, we definitely had a good showing against the Jaguars last time we played them, November 21st, 2021. It was 30-10 in Jacksonville. That was back when Jimmy G was our quarterback. He threw 2 touchdowns. Deebo Samuel caught one of them, and George Kittle caught one of the touchdowns, and Brandon Ayuk caught the other. Deebo ran one, and they gave Deebo the ball like 8 times in that game, and he had 79 yards. And we are going to get Deebo back this game, right? We're going to get Deebo back, so that's going to help out Purdy a whole lot in the offense in general. It sucks not having Deebo around, and so it's good to have him back. He's just that spark plug to the offense. He's a catalyst, He's not the most polished receiver out there, doesn't have the greatest hands, doesn't run the greatest routes, but he just brings that spark to the team, and it's great to have. Adding, so there you go. Dan says, adding Chase, I see a pick or two. I'm dying to see a pick 6. I mentioned Talanoa Hufanga earlier. I would love to see Talanoa Hufanga out there getting a pick 6. That would be really, really nice. And maybe Chase Young and Bosa rushing after the quarterback will help him do it. Hargrave's a beast up the middle, and we're no longer going to have to worry about Bosa getting chipped all the time and getting slowed down. You're just going to have too many good pass rushers out there. And you got a guy like Randy Gregory that you can mix in now. And, who knows what happens with Drake Jackson and Clelin Ferrell and those other guys. Are they even – I was making a joke, I believe, to Aaron, a couple other content creators on the Bring the Heat podcast while I was on with Ryan and Mariah, and I was saying, what's his name? Drake Jackson had 3 sacks to start off the year, right? Opening week of the season. And great to have 3 sacks in your first game, right? But if you didn't get any sacks in the other games, that's a huge question mark. And I just threw the joke out there. And it's like now with the addition of Chase Young in the mix and Randy Gregory, it's like, is Drake Jackson going to be stuck at 3 sacks for the rest of the season and that's it? Hopefully not. Hopefully he does improve upon that number. So we'll see. Brian Cope said the Niners are 4-2. We have won the last 4 games in a row against the Jags. Yeah, I remember back in Jimmy's first year with the team, I remember we stomped the Jags a bit up that game too, right? Over at Levi's. That was a fun game to watch. I mean, the Jag players were talking a lot of smack going into that game, saying they were going to beat us up or whatever, and so we had a lot of fun in that game. Yeah. So, anyways, appreciate everybody here. Appreciate everybody. Oh, there goes Randy Daytona. Yeah, you missed Ryan, bro. He had appointment. He does real estate, so he wasn't able to be on for the whole time that I normally do my shows at. But I'd like to bring him on again in the future. Actually, he's a really, really good dude and got a lot of great takes. And we had a lot of fun on here actually. So you can always hit that rewind button and check it out later. So shout out to Ryan. Ryan's awesome. Randy says Niners went 15-1 before the 3 losses. Let's try and remember that when we're feeling sorry for ourselves. Oh yeah, definitely. I totally agree. I mean, this whole Brock Purdy, ride that we've had so far has been great. I think. I mean, he just whoa. He says he knows nothing. Worst guest on every show ever. Whoa. That's a tough one, man. I don't know. I beg to differ, but it's all good. Everybody has their own opinions. Yeah, but Brock Purdy. I mean, we discovered him in the late round. I mean, I believe who was it? The guy that took him. Wasn't John Lynch. It was Adam Peters, I believe, and the quarterback coach Greasy were kind of the guys who were, had their eyes set on Brock Purdy. And, hey, things didn't go as planned with Trey Lance, but we've had a great streak of wins with Brock Purdy, and it's been a lot of fun. And hopefully it continues. And I do see a lot of good things with him. John V says, my hot take is Gregory has the speed and will chase down a mobile quarterback or semi-mobile quarterback. Oh, so I like Gregory too. I saw him in a recent interview, and it was in the locker room when they were asking about Chase Young, and he still seems really, really positive about his role with the team. You would think like a guy that we just brought in recently off a trade would be bummed out about the whole Chase Young acquisition, but it just seems like he was in really, really good spirits about everything, with that and with his role with the team. And that's good, man. I mean, Chase Young, when he came to the team in his opening press conference, I mentioned this earlier, he said he was just delighted by he felt like a different culture, the 49ers locker room culture. The positivity is definitely there. And a lot of players that come from other places notice a big difference in coming from where they used to play for and then coming into the Levi Stadium locker room. So it's really, really good to hear. And hopefully that camaraderie in the locker room leads to a lot of good things. So we'll see, dude. Gregory can shock the world. So, yeah. I love the 86K seconds. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Randy. You're always typing up something interesting in the chat, though, Randy. You always catch my eye. Randy Gregory's nice, man. I like Randy Gregory. But, hey, Chase Young's going to be a lot nicer, hopefully. So, you guys caught the show a little bit late. I had Randy Gregory on. So I didn't have Randy Gregory on. Why am I smoking? I had Ryan Hensley on earlier. It was a lot of fun. There you go. Channel 49's here. Says, give Brock Purdy a 10-year contract, baby. Channel 49 is a good buddy of mine. Him and I have an inside joke. This is back when Jimmy G was playing, and he'd jump on my chat all the time. And he knows that I wasn't a big Jimmy G fan, and he wasn't either. And he'd always jump on my chats and say, let's give Jimmy G a 10-year contract, baby. He'd always jump on my chat and say that. So he's saying that about Brock Purdy right now. He likes Brock, and I like Brock too. Brock's cool, man. Hopefully he gets better at what he does and eventually takes us to the promised land. We'll see. Thank you guys, though. I am going to close up shop. Ryan did have to get going. I'm going to be on again on my channel on Friday. I do my normal Friday show at 3:00 with Ted. It's called Ball with Bash and Ted. On Fridays, we also go live with B and Raj from RS of 49ers. So Raj from RS of 49ers and I are teaming up every Friday. Usually it's around 7:00. We had to cancel this last Friday, actually, but we've been on as of late, and it's been a lot of fun to do those shows too. And that's where Raj gives out his predictions on the Friday show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And on Saturdays, I go on live with Aaron for 49ers First Takes. It should be on my channel on Saturday. We kind of alternate channels on that one as well. So definitely hit the like and subscribe button on the channel as well. And whatever guests I have on, always subscribe to their channels. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you guys for watching 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Hopefully we do come out with a victory in Jacksonville. This bump in the road that we've hit with the 3-game losing streak isn't fun, but hey, we got the rest of the bye week. We got Chase Young in the mix. Debo's coming back. Hopefully Trent Williams plays. That'll be good to see. And hopefully we do get that victory again. Hopefully it's no longer banked up Niner gang and we're bang Niner gang. With that said, keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded. Peace. Let's go. Go Niners.
Come on, 49 Lakers, let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick real quick.
49er mind.
Yeah, Ria! Yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49er mind.